see it right there. Alicia Johnson at 58% of the vote right now. The Democrat who is running to unseat the incumbent Tim Echols, a Republican. That's in District 2. Over in, are we getting the District 3 numbers right now?
I think let's stay on District 2. There's District 3.
District 3.
You ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, the Democrat there, Peter Hubbard, also leading Republican incumbent Finch Johnson. We know that Republicans and Democrats really vying hard for these seats. The numbers are still being reported in, but right now Democrats are taking the lead and probably sitting very happy looking at these results right now.
And we're looking at these statewide results in the PSC contests. In District 2, we just saw the early results, and not so early now. We're starting to get a lot of results in. Alicia Johnson in the lead. We heard from Alicia Johnson just a little bit ago. If we can, let's play part of that interview.
It was an arduous process, of course. The incumbent had been in the office for 14 years. And I think that the people of Georgia this was a referendum on that leadership at the Public Service Commission level. And it was an opportunity for every Georgian to have this choice and a chance to choose who they wanted to represent them. It was with all the support, with my family. It was very taxing because I work full time. I'm a mom, a grandma. During this campaign, we had several family members that were diagnosed with certain illnesses that required extensive care, and so it's been a long, hard-fought battle. Both personally and publicly.
It's important to note, it might have sounded like a victory speech there. We do know that Georgia Democrats calling that a win, but Democrats or Republicans do not call races. We have folks that do call those races. We have not called this race yet, but we will stay on top of it. However, the feeling in that room is very high right now. A lot of smiles. They're very excited about this race. Mark, you're a Republican, you're a strategist, you're hearing this speech. What's going through your mind right now in that other camp, the Republican camp?
It's a little more on the critical side. I think the Republicans never could get their footing under them for their campaign on what their message was. They kind of made this message, there was a bifurcated message. One of them was that we're endorsed by Republican incumbent legislators, which I don't think is a winning message. People like their legislators, but they're not affected by their endorsement.
You're really bearish about endorsements. You told us this on the Georgia Vote a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's so much information now that endorsements have no real significant impact at that level. And then the other is they were sort of put into a position of saying, they didn't phrase it this way, needless to say, but, we have raised rates a number of times in the last 3 years, but don't vote for the other guys because they're going to raise rates. It wasn't going to be a winning message. I don't think the Republicans the candidates never grasped it. I think their campaigns probably were being run by third-party entities in a lot of cases. I just think this was a mess.
That is just a mess. That's a
campaign mess.
That's a pretty heavy sentence there from a Republican talking about two Republican incumbents.
Guys. I mean, they're good guys. They just didn't run cohesive campaigns. And I got to hand it to the Democrats. They did.
Is that also, and I think that's very magnanimous of you, I think the Democrat on our panel would say, it seems to be, you guys get along well on the Georgia Vote, even when you do clash. But it seems to be tonight the story of Democrats feeling pretty good at this time. We're at 9:07 p.m. right now on the East Coast. Virginia gubernatorial contest called for Democrat Abigail Spanberger. We're watching to see how some other flashpoint races in Virginia, particularly the Attorney General's race, turns out tonight. Also watching New York City mayoral. Yep. And we're watching the New Jersey gubernatorial. There's a lot of narrative spinning and narrative telling right now. Democrats, I'm sure, want to say, hey, look at us. We've got momentum going into 26. Republicans are probably going to downplay that, I'd imagine. But, Fred, is there some truth to it? Do Democrats get to say, hey, look, we're in a good spot going into the midterms?
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's Donald Trump. So since the November election, when you look at the special elections in Florida for Matt Gaetz' seat that the Republicans held on to, but they held on to by a very narrow margin. You look at the special elections that took place in the early part of this year in March, and you look at what's happening in Virginia, which is feeling the brunt of Trumpism and the Doge and all the cuts and all of that. Republicans, since Donald Trump was elected last November, have not fared well at the ballot box, and that's not a partisan statement. That is just an empirical thing of it. And so for Democrats, again, I said it earlier in the last hour. For Democrats, I think the biggest obstacle to us winning in 26, aside from these efforts of redistricting and all that, is really believing that we can do it. And when you look at the tapestry of election results across the country, especially on the East Coast, from Florida to potentially tonight in New York City, it shows that America is responding negatively to at least on the East Coast, to Donald Trump. And that's something we talked about on the Georgia votes before, that voters do not give you 4 years anymore. They give you 2 years and 1 year in some cases to make a change or to make moves. And so I think this is, and this again, it's not a partisan thing. It's just looking at the election results. Democrats really should, I think, be bullish going into 2026. And I think that's why. And again, one other thing, these elections are taking place against the backdrop of everything that's happening with the shutdown and SNAP benefits. Again, this is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Fred, we don't want to cut you off. We have some other results, Faith, we want to go to in just a moment, but I do want to bring Donnell in here. Can I give you the last word on this topic here? Because, Fred, you're alluding to this point where you said, voters don't give you 4 years anymore. They give you 2 or 1. You talk to voters all the time in your reporting. Is it a story where you can be feeling good this month, you can be feeling good this year, but things can change quickly? Is there a risk of saying, hey, we're doing great right now, change nothing if you're a Democrat or a Democratic Party official right now?
It's more, what are you doing for me lately? And the government shutdown's going on, 34 days? 35 today.
Pushing on the record in just a few hours now.
So that has a lot to do with what my thinking was a month ago and what my thinking is today, and that's starting to show a little bit.
I also want to ask you, Donnell, too, because we're everybody watching, and we are so happy that you all are watching our stream and watch our show every Sunday. And you are obviously very interested and in tune with politics, but there's another pocket of people, our family members and our friends, that could care less about what's going on today, right? They did not go out and vote because some of them just did not know it was going on. It's an off year. How do you, if the Democrats do take these races, some of the races against the Republicans, vice versa, and Mark, I can bring you in on this too, as a strategist, how do you keep that momentum going until the midterm? Because we're in the age of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, where people just do not remember what happened 6 months, 10 months ago, unless it really hurt them financially or with their safety, Donnell.
The Democratic Party's got to use the victories tonight, be small or what have you, as momentum and say, we won these, we can win some more. You just have to take that into 2026. You have to take what you can get.
Remind people.
Yeah, you have to keep on reminding them, look, you voted and look what happened. Now do the same thing in 2026, but a lot more.
Mark, do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's what, from their perspective, that's what they should do. Of course, we have to remember what are the states and what are the races that are up for election. It's New Jersey. That's just a Democrat blue state. Mm-hmm. New York, the city of Atlanta. A lot of these are just Democrat. And the off-year elections, the way they're structured, a lot of times are just, they're Democrat and they're leaning. Now, Virginia has been a swing state. It has heavily leaned Democrat at the presidential level for years now. But these are Democratic states, so it's not terribly surprising that the Democrats would win them. It's sort of a normalized. The real question is why the Republicans could even come within 5 points in New Jersey. That's what's amazing.
Fred?
Well, that's a great spin there, my buddy.
That's not a spin. That's true. When's the last time a Republican did that?
A Republican won the Virginia governor's mansion last time.
No, New Jersey.
You'd have to look back to Chris Christie, right?
Yeah, you'd have to go back 20 years, to the last time a Republican won that.
That was a pretty big one. He thought I was going to catapult him to the presidency. Listen, again, Republicans 2 months ago thought they could win the New Jersey race. So I appreciate what you're doing there, Mark, but let's just look at the reality.
They thought they might win, but let's be real. That is a blue state. That's as blue a state as you get.
Donald Trump did very well there.
Yes, he did. He moved the state much more toward the red, and the Republicans have continued to do that tonight. They've come within just a few points of winning. They did not win, but
that race is not called yet in New Jersey. It's not called.
And that's what's unusual,
but
too. To be this late at night, a New Jersey race with a Republican not being called, this isn't quite so simple as to try to, blue mask everything here.
Well, it's not about blue masking. It's about wins and losses.
See, I just made that word up and you took it.
That was really good. We should use that there. But the reality is that getting close only counts in horseshoes, not in politics. You know that, right? It's a win. It's either you win or you lose, right? And then so in this instance, right, these are big wins, big scores for Democrats. And again, in a state like New Jersey, here's why this is important. Should it go blue? After the defection from labor from Democrats last year to the Republicans
Yeah.
and to Donald Trump to see a heavy labor state like New Jersey go back blue or stay blue, that is a big sign. That is a huge sign. And again, what we're talking
No,
about
this is very close in New Jersey.
But listen, here's what we're talking
And this
about,
is
Mark.
as blue a state as it comes.
Are we
I think
seeing?
California can
I
compete
think it's
with
about
that.
a shift.
It's
in
about the same as
electorate.
California, and it's moved like 15 points in the last couple of years.
Are
It's
we seeing a
quite
microcosm
striking.
of what the spin and what the conversation is going to be like in the weeks and months to come
But
here?
when
I-
it's
I-
not spin and it's reality, what do you do about that? I mean, this is a Democrat state that has accelerated toward the Republicans.
So
in the
did you
last
And when I say that, guys, just to be clear, I mean from both sides here, because we've been talking about this all night long. You know, whoever does well tonight, we've talked about this with both of you on the Georgia vote in weeks and really months prior. Whoever does well tonight, they're going to really be banging that drum and saying, look at how phenomenal these results are. And whoever does not so well, they're going to softball the results. They're going to explain why they're not so important.
And using it as messaging. But also, I mean, just back to what you all were talking about, we could also, it could be a sign of a shift of electorate, but keep in mind, 2024 was not long ago, and President Trump did very well in all swing states with that as well. So that's what
Absolutely.
Democrats are looking to coming to the midterm.